Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of my favourite people and, of course, some of the world's biggest stars as well. And the biggest star in 2013 has got to be the royal baby. And the big question, of course, is how are we going to find out about it? Do we find out on the news? Do we find out through Twitter or Facebook? And the lady who can tell us all about it is Jennie Bond. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
It's so lovely to talk to you. And of course, that's the big question, isn't it? Who is going to make the announcement? How are they going to do it? And how are we all going to find out? I mean, we know it's going to be on a board. That's the first thing, don't we?
That's right. They're going down the very traditional route, which I think is rather great, actually. So when Kate has the baby, a handwritten or typewritten note, I think it'll be typewritten actually, piece of paper will be created at the hospital. It'll be signed by the doctors. It's a Buckingham Palace headed piece of paper. Then it'll be driven through the streets of London to the palace and put on an easel, and that will be put up just inside the gates so people can gaze through the gates and look at the announcement. So that's the way royal babies' announcements have been made over generations, and I think that's rather wonderful.
It's lovely, but it is quite old-fashioned, because let's face it, if you talk to anybody under 30 today, especially if you go for dinner with them, they've got their phone in their hand through the whole thing, and they're just staring at Facebook and Twitter. So maybe they should open thebabyisborn.com or something and tweet from there.
Well, it's not only young people, you know. I'm the same. I'm on Twitter and Facebook, and I do all that stuff as well. But this is what's interesting, actually. Papershaker.com thought, well, okay, what about this? Let's do a little survey. And they asked 2,000 people. That's a lot of people. And 82% said that they thought making an announcement like this on Facebook or Twitter was, they said, crass. They thought it was a bit gimmicky. And they certainly thought it was impersonal. And a vast majority of people in their 20s and 30s, actually, 78% thought the same. What
part are you going to play? Because let's face it, Jennie, you've been part of almost every big royal story since about 1837, haven't you?
1988 actually is when I started, and I certainly never wanted to be a royal and wasn't remotely interested in the royal family, but here we are many years later, and I'm still reporting on them, writing about them, broadcasting about them, a very great deal of my time, even in the 10 years since I left the BBC. I spent a lot of time doing it. So yeah, I'm kind of booked up to be there, well, not actually at the birth, sadly, but outside the hospital or in studios, broadcasting, writing, etc. And it's lovely. It's a lovely feeling, actually, to be still part of that loop and be involved. But conversely, the great luxury of my life is that when great royal stories happen, I'm phoned and asked, and most of the time I say yes, but just occasionally, you know, I can now say, what do you know, I'm a free lady and I'm busy. And that's just great feeling, it really is.
That's something that you've always been aware of, the public gaze, the public opinion, and of course the public interest in the royals. That's what you've always been fascinated by. And I would say there was a period, sort of late 90s, when we all got a bit, it's not going so well. Now, of course, Will and Kate have just brought it all back. Everybody loves the royals again, don't they?
They do. The younger royals particularly are cool. I mean, my daughter's 23, and for all that her life was immersed in royal reporting, because everything, you know, that happened to me sort of happened to her. I had broken promises all over the place. You know, I'll take you shopping. Whoops, no, I won't. Diana's gone and done something. You know, I'll be at your sports day. Whoops, no, I won't. You know, Charles has gone and done something. For all that, she couldn't give a toss about royalty until quite recently, when she has a passing interest now in the young royals, because they are cool, they are celebrities, and that's vital for the future of the monarchy. I mean, it augurs really, really well that they are such global superstars. And I mean, the Queen herself has 80% popularity rating, you know, so things are looking extremely rosy in the royal garden, I think.
And you make a good point there. I mean, you have been as much a part of the royal story as they have. I mean, you were there throughout. Are you glad about that, or did you pay a price? As you say, when something happened, you had to be there. How did that affect your life? Was it exciting at the time, or was it a drain?
It was exciting, of course. It was always unpredictable, and that's why I became a journalist, because I love the unpredictability. But once you've settled down and you've got a child, particularly, that unpredictability becomes a bit of a crucifix, really. And I did hate, I tried never to use the word promise to my daughter when she was growing up, because I knew a broken promise was what would probably ensue, and that was bad. But I depended on having a house husband. my husband gave up his job to look after our little girl, so I always knew that she'd have her dad there at all the big events in her life if by some horror I had to miss it. So it was taxing, but of course it was great.
Do you still pinch yourself when you know that they know who you are? I mean, some of the most famous people in the world, the royals that we all love, know who you are. That's strange, isn't it, Jennie?
Well, no, not really, because I've known them, watched William grow up, and I've met the Queen many times, and I knew Diana pretty well. And Charles always has a joke with me, he saddles up and says, "I love your leather jacket," or "Are you wearing the wrong shoes again?" Because I was always trotting around in the wrong shoes, maybe in a potato field near St. Petersburg or something in high heels. And so we have their little jokes. So it doesn't seem odd to me, no. Whether they still remember me, I really don't know, but I like to think they might.
I think that's fabulous. What great memories for you. What is next? We need to see more of you on the TV. I think what the jungle taught us was that you have an incredible sense of humour, as does Charles, of course. Is there other stuff you want to do? I mean, I've seen you on those cookery programmes and things like that.
Cookery, antiques, I've done all sorts of things, stars in their eyes, quiz shows, loads of quiz shows, you name a quiz show, I've done it, much to my horror, because I tend to get brain freeze and make a complete fool of myself, but it usually makes lots of money for charity, which is great. At the moment I seem to be on a run of serious stuff. People think I've got a brain again, and I'm doing newspaper reviews, opinionated shows, debates, and as I say, there might be a possibility of a show where I can, with other strong, inverted commas, women, give my views about world affairs, which would be great. Yes, I have to use the old grey matter a bit more than I'm used to, but there we are.
When you say a programme with women talking about world affairs, you're not talking about loose women, are you?
No, I'm not. No. And it's great fun. No, it's fantastic.
Well, so
involved in lots and lots of things. But at the moment, of course, it's the royal baby. So I've got to sort of make myself available as much as I possibly can, and see how many people turn out to read that notice on the gates, or how many people are going to hope to see it on Twitter, and how many people would take a leaf out the royals' books and go along with Paper Shaker and create a little moment of history by uploading their own pictures and sending greeting cards.
Jennie, you're always fascinating. Thank you so much for sparing the time to talk to me. Let's give the plug then. www.paper-shaker.com. paper/shaker.com is the place to find all the information. So lovely to talk to you today. Come on again, won't you?
I'd love to. Thank you very much. It was lovely.